The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jane Dupree. I'm speaking to you out of Auckland at SnapComms headquarters. It is just gone top of the hour, but I'm going to wait just one more minute for any latecomers to join. So I'll be back in just about a minute's time. Hello again. Good morning to everybody, and welcome to this SnapComms webinar where we're going to be introducing the new SnapComms app and showing you how you can get straight into using it as an employee engagement campaign, for an employee engagement campaign. Just to point out, these features that I am going to be presenting are only available to our cloud customers, but local customers should please talk to your CSM about a path forward for yourselves. On behalf of all of us, thank you for signing up and attending, and I hope you're going to come out of the webinar excited to start using the new app. So let's start with some introductions. I am Jane Dupree. I'm the product manager at SnapComms, and I'm based in Auckland, New Zealand, where it's 10 o'clock on Wednesday evening. Also on the call is Linda Block. She's also in Auckland. She is our product marketing manager, and I'll hand over to her in a short while to do the introduction section. We also have Ellen Rollins, Beth White, and Alicia Conroy. They're all on the East Coast. So hello to you, Ellen.
Good morning, everyone.
And hi, Beth.
Hello, hello.
And Alicia.
Hello, everyone.
You all sound very bright and cheerful. I guess it's very early in the morning for you. Welcome. Right, so let's get on to some housekeeping now. This webinar is already being recorded, and we will send you the recording of that and some additional resources sometime tomorrow. As attendees, you are muted, so I cannot hear you, but doesn't mean I don't want to hear from you. We really encourage you to ask any questions you have as we go. And how you do that is you open the questions section in your GoToWebinar app, type in your question, and Ellen will be watching out for all those incoming questions, and she will alert me to those when we pause. There are 4 natural pauses in this presentation, so she'll put them to me then. There'll also be some time at the end for questions. The session's about 40-45 minutes, depending on the number of questions we get. So there'll also be time at the end. So let's look at the agenda. As I said, I'm going to hand over to Linda shortly, and she will start by briefly looking at what employee apps are and how they drive employee engagement. And she'll then outline how you can turn your SnapComms app, the one you already have, into an employee app, and how you can launch a campaign in just 4 steps. I'll then cover these steps in a real-time demo, which is always fun. So this is not going to be death by PowerPoint. It's going to keep me on my toes and wide awake at this time of night. So without further ado, over to you, Linda.
All right. Hi, everyone. And thanks, Jane, for the introduction. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. I'm going to jump right into what are employee apps and how do they drive employee engagement. So employee apps are really all about meeting employees where they are, which is on their phones. It probably doesn't come as a surprise to you that people spend an estimated 4 hours a day on their phones, and mobile phones have pretty much become the virtual extension of ourselves. So for better or for worse, they allow us to stay in constant contact with the world, our friends, family, the things we care about. Point being that employee apps reflect your employees' tech preferences, and this is simply how they like to consume information. Then on the other hand, businesses have actually been quite slow to catch on to the shift of how we want to consume information. We still see businesses make employees search for information either on a clunky intranet or collaboration channels where it can be a bit of a nightmare to find anything you're looking for. Employees are expected to actively work to discover the information they need. But of course, the reality is if you want employees to pay attention to your content, it needs to be personalized, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to come to them. Don't make them search for it. And the final point I wanted to touch on is constant accessibility. That doesn't necessarily mean being on call 24/7, but it's really about facilitating the strong connections, having this one destination where your employees can engage with your company, and especially for remote employees who might have a bit of a harder time staying connected with you. So this was just a little bit of background on employee apps, and I focused a lot on mobile apps, but you can actually replicate this engaging and personalized experience on your desktop as well, which brings us to the SnapComms app that you're already using. So you already have everything you need. So how can you turn this into an employee app? Everyone on the call is already a SnapComms customer, so you know that you can send a variety of different notification formats direct to desktops, whether that's an alert, a pop-up notification, a ticker, whatever it might be. At the core, our platform is all about proactively sending important information directly to employees. And at the moment, every message you send, no matter what content format or notification format, all these notifications show in your message history. And on this slide, you see the desktop message history box, but it really works the same way on mobile as well. Now, with the launch of the new SnapComms app, you can turn this message history box that you're used to into a news feed to really make it this one destination for your employees to engage with you, something they want to open up, something they want to scroll through because they know that the content in there is relevant and engaging. So depending on whether you're using SnapComms on desktop only or both desktop and mobile, you can really transform your app into this view on any device. So if you've previously considered mobile, this might be a good time to chat to your CSM. So now Jane will take you through a demo of how you can get started with the new app. Depending on what version you're on, you might have to update first. Then you can quite easily add your company logo and colors to really turn this into a branded app. And of course, the newsfeed looks better with some nice images in there. So Jane will show you how to get started with that. And then we'll finalize it by giving you an idea of how you can launch this to your employees. All right, and that's me.
Super. Thanks, Linda. You've set the scene really well for me. So as you said, I'm going to take you through 4 easy steps to launching your employee engagement campaign. We will be demoing live, as I said, on my Windows PC, but I will switch to a mobile view, a recording of a mobile view to show you how it behaves exactly the same for the end user on the phone and for that matter on a Mac. So step 1, as you can see on screen, is to update to the new version that contains the engagement-rich features. So the magic version number is 19.6 or higher. So just to clarify these version numbers, 19 indicates the year, so that's 2019, and 6 is a month, so this was released in June. So anything higher than 19.6 on Windows, iOS, and Android is capable of these features, and anything above 19.7 on Mac. Right, so I'm going to now switch to demo view. So I'm going to go to my desktop. Sorry about that. And let's take a look at the SnapComms app as you know it. So remember, you can open it from your system tray at the bottom right. If you don't see it there, then expand the view and drag the SnapComms icon into your system tray. Now you can always see it, and you can notice that badge count if you have missed a new message while you were away from your desk. So opening up the app, with the app open, I can check the version number by hovering over the SnapComms logo. We can see here I have version 19.3, so we do need to update that to at least 19.6 to see the new features. Now, the good news is that updating the Windows app is so much easier, as it's now just a simple publish mechanism from our content manager. And this updatable feature is available from the version 19.3, so that was released in March 2019. So if you're on anything below that, you will need to update to this new version either manually or via group policy for the very last time. So let me show you step one, how to update the app. So I'm going to open my content manager. This should look very familiar to all of you. And opening the app management section, I'm going to look at Windows app updates. Now, here you'll see the latest version of the app that's available, which is now 19.8. And you, from here, can schedule an update. Now, I just want to stress that SnapComms will never automatically push these app updates out to you. What we do is we push them to our cloud, and then you choose to schedule the update yourself. You retain the control of testing the new app in a controlled environment and then deciding to schedule it to all staff. But of course, in this demo, I do want to go ahead and schedule the update. So I click Schedule an Update. The latest version is pre-selected for me. So all I need to do is decide who should get it by setting the targets and when. I am ready to roll this out to my whole organization, and I'm going to do that immediately, but you could schedule that for any time, any date and time in the future that suits you. So from here, you see the familiar Publish button, confirm the publish, and off it will go. Let's return to the app updates window. So what's going on in the background is when the app next polls the server, which is typically every 2 minutes, 120 seconds, the app will receive the version update, do a very quick restart while it installs, and then you're ready to go. Now, not to worry if you didn't follow that process 100%, as we're going to share a link to a video tutorial that explains it in plenty of detail. So look out for an email from us tomorrow with that link and some other handouts, but it really is quite simple. Now, I have noticed that that did restart while I was talking, so let's take a look at the new employee app. Let's open it up. Right, immediately you can notice the richer visual display of the messages in this new default feed view. The app is resizable from all the outside edges. I'd like mine taller so we can see more content. And the size and the position that I move to is persisted the next time the app is opened. So looking at this, each message has a customized feed image. We no longer just have the SnapComms icon, the alerts icon or the ticker icon to depict it. And your staff can skim read message headlines and the first few lines of text from the feed before they decide to open it. Scrolling down, this large image depicts a story. Now, this is a brand new message type that we've introduced for free to all our customers when you update to this new app. Now, the use case for a story is generally for non-urgent human interest content available to be consumed from the feed at your staff's leisure. So, for example, this story is about Scott. He is a young engineering intern at SnapComms who shared a beautiful, heartwarming story with us, and we wanted to share it with all our staff. So notice how it's marked by this green indicator, and it says it's new, but there's no incremental badge count on the icon. Now that's because stories do not come with notifications. In other words, they're not urgent enough to interrupt your staff. Clicking on the picture on the story opens the full story. That can be as long as you wish. It would scroll if it was longer. And closing that up, we get back to the feed. Now, speaking of notifications, that's a good segue to introducing the secondary view of the app, and that is the notification view. Now, notice that that story about Scott is not shown here. Only the messages which have come either direct on screen or with a notification are shown here. So you can think of this condensed view, or you can explain it to your staff as the priority, the list of priority messages. So if you really want to know where to find the stuff that was most important, you can come directly to the notifications view. Right, switching back to the feed view, I want to point out the branding, the logo in the top left corner. In this case, that's just a placeholder logo, and the coloring of the icons, which has picked up the primary color from that logo. In this case, it's blue. Now, this theming of the app is another new feature, and it's also for free as soon as you install this new app. And the bonus here is it's controlled by the organization theme that you've set up in your content manager. So we will cover that in step 2. What else do I need to show you? The messages are shown chronologically with the newest at the top. And in this new app, we've introduced a search feature. So you can easily find, or your staff can easily find, messages that they want to refer back to. So for example, here at SnapComms, we've had a lot of new people start recently, and sometimes I struggle to put a name to a face. So I can open that up, search all items that were about people's staff profiles, and quickly I can recognize that that's the lovely Olivia I need to talk to. So without scrolling through all the content, I can search specifically for what I want. Now that search feature is also available in the notification feed. Right, closing that up, let's close the content manager and move on to step 2. But before we do that, I'm going to take a break for a sip of water. And Ellen, have any questions come through? I'm also really keen on people's first impressions of what they're seeing.
Okay, great. We do have a question of what type of reporting is there on stories, and when is a story reported as read?
Okay, really, really good question. Let's go back to that story about Scott. Now, when I first showed it to you, there was a green indicator saying it was new or unread. We then opened it up. You saw me open it, and now that indicator's gone away. So by opening it from the app, that is considered read, right? I mean, opening it from the feed. So if we look at the reports for that item, we can see that it is 100% read, 100% success. And that means you can see here that I targeted 2 users. There are only 2 users in this whole organization for this demo. It reached the 1 user, and that's myself because I'm online, and therefore, and I read it, and so my success is 100%. So readership of a story is when it's opened up from the app.
Okay, great. Great. And one other question is, I can't see stories in my content manager, so how do I get that? You said it was, free.
Yeah, it is free. So we've got a bit of a chicken and the egg situation here. We can switch it on for everybody right now. The trouble is that to enjoy the full impact of the story, in other words, for your staff to experience it in the app, you need to first upgrade to this version 19.6 or higher. So we decided to have this series of webinars to educate our customers, and then leave it to you to request that stories are switched on, or probably within another week or two, we may switch them on for everyone. We just didn't want to surprise people with a new feature that they couldn't quite yet appreciate in full.
All right, that's it for now.
Okay, great. So let's move on to the step 2. This is my favorite part, especially doing in a live demo. And this is where we are going to add your company logo and the dominant color to theme the app. So in the Content Manager, we open the Management section this time, and then Themes. Now, if you've got a sharp eye, you'll notice a new icon here, and that depicts that this theme is being used to theme the app. So that little icon is an app, and by default, when you install the app, it will pick up the theme, the colors and the logo that are on your organization theme. But for this demo, let's pretend that I'm working for the Airbnb organization, and so let's replace this placeholder logo with the Airbnb logo and see in real time how that looks in the app. So we click to view the theme, and we change the logo image, and I select my Airbnb logo. And as you probably know, the theme colors are picked up from the most dominant color in the logo. So we've got these lovely kind of coral pink colors. I'm just going to move that out the way. And again, those of you with sharp eyes will notice a new tab at the top here called App. So if we switch to App, we now get a preview of how that theme, how the logo and the color look in the app. So this is an introductory kind of area, which is a notification to staff telling them how many unread messages they have when they first open the app. So that picks up the color too. So I think that looks great. So I'm going to proceed now and apply that to the theme. We hit the apply button. Until we do this, it's in draft status and nothing has changed. So we're going to apply the theme. But please do note this warning that this theme change is immediate, and it is to all organization apps which have the capabilities. So that will be Mac, mobile, and Windows who are on the version that can receive this theming. So let's click yes. And when the app again polls the server, reconnects, it will receive that new branding. Let's take a look at that and see if it's come through. I'm just going to close that down. Opening it up, we can see it's refreshing, and there we see the logo and the colors that have been applied to. Gorgeous. Like I said, it's really a lot of fun too. Ellen, any questions before I go on to step 3?
Yes, so we have 2 more questions, and the first one is, what size logo should I upload to look good in the app and anywhere else?
Good question. I'll just return here. So the logo size, when it appears on the message windows or questionnaires, the height here is 90 pixels tall. So that's 90 pixels tall. When it is put onto the app, it reduces to 45 pixels tall. So my rule of thumb is I like to have my logo at least 90 pixels tall. I also like to use an SVG file because that has the best scaling for the web browsers. So an SVG file, 90 pixels tall, but of course a PNG and a JPEG will also work fine.
Okay, and one more question is, can I still display my panic button on the new app?
Yes, you can. So I don't have one published to myself, but if I did, it would appear in this top panel, and it would retain, that iconic red kind of emergency color. So it is not themed at all by the app theme. So absolutely yes, the panic button would appear here, and for that matter, if you were using the snooze feature whereby end users can actually snooze or switch off the receiving of notifications. For instance, if they are doing a presentation like I'm doing now, then that would also be up here and that would have the color applied.
Okay, and we have one more question that just came in. Then how can I insert a video, please?
I gather that is a video into the story. Is that the question, do you think? Else, our video alerts would appear in the feed. Once you open it up, you could see the full video. At this stage, stories are simply static images, but this is the first iteration. We are really open to feedback. If customers have a need to have a video in a story, then we would certainly look at that.
Okay, it's one more question around this is, presume the panic button is only shown to certain users that you want to hit the panic button.
Absolutely. So those same rules and permissions about who sees it and who has access to publish apply.
That's it for now.
Okay, great. Last thing, and again, this is fun, I look forward to it always, is showing you how to create and publish some of this rich content to your new feed. After all, when your staff, when you launch it to your staff, you want them to get the best possible first impression of the engagement app when they first open it. So I'm going to show you now how to create a story. So back in the Content Manager, I'm going to select Create Content. And here we go. We see story. Like somebody's already asked, you won't see story at the moment. You do need to reach out to your CSM or our tech support, and we can switch that on for you. You can then play around in it. Even if you haven't upgraded the app yet, you can play around in the Content Manager, see how you like it. But like I said, to experience the full engagement of the story in the app, you do need to upgrade first. So let's click Story. I'm going to cheat and copy and paste in the name. This is going to be a story about SnapComms loves learning, and I'm just going to put it in this root folder. Okay, so stories always have a fixed layout, and the reason we've done that is because it means they're always going to look great in the feed. There's always a picture at the top, there is a headline, and then you write the body of the story there. So the first thing to do is to click the pencil icon and to upload an image. Now I've got a great picture here of the SnapComms team at a conference earlier this year. So let's just upload that. There it is, and let's apply. So as you can see, the image is automatically placed so that it fills the space. So not much tinkering required. However, I'd like to point out this great new feature, which is our crop feature. So I can decide if I want to zoom in and reposition the image in the space. So I'm going to focus on some people on this call. Here we have the lovely Ellen. That's myself. That's Beth. And sorry, Alicia, that you're not in this picture. Anyway, let's click Apply, and that cropped version will be placed there. So that's really great new functionality that's come in with this story. Again, I'm going to type in my headline, which is going to be the same as the name, and let's put in my content. Now, you can put as much content in here as you wish. Let me just add a paragraph break. There we go. When I click off, though, you'll see that your end users, the view in the feed, will only show the first 3 lines of text. After that, they will have to click to open to read the full story. Okay, we're ready to preview that, and I'm going to click the preview icon, and for some of you, this is going to be the first time you see our new preview feature as well. We've introduced what we call in-context interactive preview. So we are showing you exactly how that content will appear to your end users. So no more guessing or publishing it yourself to actually see it. You can see it beautifully in context here. So there it is. I can open it up and close it down. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to switch to mobile view. Now, earlier I had a problem with this image loading, but there we go. It's working fine. And that is the view when fully opened up. So going back to desktop, I also just want to point out you can, in this case, the app is open because it's a story, but if you closed it, you can reopen it from there, and you can restart the whole animation as many times as you want, which is really great when you're using some of our on-screen notifications and you want to preview that animation on screen. You can also share this preview now, so you can type in your colleague's name, send that via email, and they will then be able to have a look at the content too. So lots of great new features that have come with this app. Right, so I'm going to cancel that, close that, and all we got to do is publish it again to my whole organization. In terms of dates, I'm going to publish it immediately. Stories are by default they have a lifetime of a year. Again, this is in line with the non-time sensitivity of them. You can adjust that, of course. So I'm going to make this story only valid for 1 month and apply that. And let's publish. Review our options. That all looks great. And we publish. Okay, returning to the dashboard. Now let's open the app. Opening it forces a refresh, and so there we see it. There again, we see the icon indicating it's new. It hasn't been fully read. Once I open it up and close it back down, it is now considered read. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's step 1, 2, and 3. But before we're ready to launch, the last thing to do really is just to check any of your older content. Now, scrolling down in my feed, I can see this familiar quiz icon. So this was a quiz we sent out, and you can immediately tell, it doesn't look nearly as great as these other engaging customized images. So I've got a decision to make here. I've got 2 choices. I can either go back to my content manager, edit this feed view, and then send it out again. Or in this case, I know that this quiz is actually out of date. So what we can do is just go to the content manager, and we're going to disable it. So, actually, sorry, I just wanted to show you how you can see that in the designer. So there is a new feed view. So you won't be seeing this yet. You'll only see the feed view once you install at least one of these apps that's capable of this functionality. So as soon as you install an app, you will see this feed view. As you can see here, it's not set up. I could add an image, but as I said, I've decided simply to disable it and remove it from the app. But that, I guess, will get you thinking, how does setting up this feed view fit into the overall workflow of creating content? So let me show you quickly, let me demonstrate that quickly by creating a desktop alert. So most of you are very familiar with a desktop alert. I'm going to choose my theme, and this one is calling for donations, food donations. Sorry about that. I didn't grab to the city mission, and again, I'm going to just add that into my base folder. Okay, so this is very familiar. We add our title there. We add our content. Slow down. Content over here. I want to split that into 2 columns because I want to add a picture to the right. So we'll do that. Well, there we go. It's resized. Let's put some formatting in here. Let's highlight that. Make that our theme color. That looks great. And now let's add an image to the right. There's my interesting image to attract attention in the feed, and I hit apply. So other than a little bit of resizing and stretching that out, I'm ready to go. So looking at the pop-up, that's usually the next step in the workflow. You check your pop-up, and that inherits the headline from the content. So that's all good for this demonstration. And now looking at the feed view, you'll see that the image that we added to the content has automatically been pulled through, and so has the headline and the first few lines of text. This image doesn't look great though. I can choose now either to crop it so that it looks better or resize it. But in my case, I'm simply just going to change the scale mode to fit, and that does a great job of that. So I'm just going to show off the preview again because that's great fun when we have an animation coming up. So here it comes, and I can interact with that. Watch that. I can actually open it from there, and I can read the content. So we're very proud of this new preview feature. I think it's going to make everyone's lives easier, and there'll be far less, testing of sending test messages to see how they actually look. Again, we can see how that looks in the mobile view. There we go. And that's how it looks opened up. Great. Okay, I think we will publish that quickly. So the whole organization, out it goes. And now we've got an app with its feed view looking gorgeous, ready to launch to your staff. So in all intents and purposes, let's pretend you're ready like I am. That content will come up shortly. There it is, exactly as you saw in that preview. I'm going to read that now to get it out the way. And now it's gone. So I'm going to pause again, Ellen, for any questions. Then I'm going to move on to step 4, which is an idea of how to launch this.
Sure. Okay, so we have a couple. The first one is, can the feed link to existing intranet content?
Absolutely. Well, so if that link was inside one of our messages, so if you put the link inside an alert, yes, it could. But that's also an interesting concept, because one of our ideas to take this the whole employee app concept further is to allow customers, to add links, like almost permanent links to the navigation areas. So perhaps you wanted a permanent link to the internet, or specifically to a place where people apply for leave. So I'm not sure what the question means. So in terms of a can it link somewhere? Yes, if it was a link in a piece of content, absolutely. But I'd be interested to hear more about that. So Ellen, if you could get the details of that that question, and we'll follow up on that.
Okay. All right, and the next one is, I saw there's new targeting options. Can you explain attribute targeting?
Okay, somebody's watching very carefully. Good idea. Right, so when I quickly selected whole organization, you guys would have seen this new targeting screen, which has been in place for about 2 months now. And attribute targeting is new. And what that lets you do is to almost, define a filter of attributes and send the message to everybody who meets, that filter criteria. So, for example, you could send a message to everybody in London, okay, if you had that set up. So if we select attribute targeting, there is a further help here, and if you click on that, you will be taken to our knowledge base where there's full details about how you map those attributes. Those attributes currently need to come from Active Directory. So if you have attributes like location or title that are complete in Active Directory, then you can set them up so that they come through here and you can then target by attributes. So what I'm going to do, because I just want to show this off a little bit, is I know I've only got this app installed on 2 computers, so I don't have much choice, but I do know that it's installed on my PC and I'm the product manager. So there you can see it's picking up product manager. If this was installed organization-wide, I could choose also to send to sales managers as well as marketing managers. So I can choose multiple attributes, multiple kind of matches for the same attribute field, and then I simply send that off. So what this does is it kind of shortcuts the need or gets around the need to create a group in Active Directory before before you can access it for targeting. So pretty powerful. We're going to be extending that to include multiple attributes. So you would be able to perhaps select location and title. So I could select, all sales managers in London and Paris if you wanted to. So really quite rich feature coming there. I'm glad somebody pointed that out.
All right. And just a comment, and that is obviously the customers online are getting excited about it, because one of my customers online has actually already emailed me and asked me to go ahead and get story added. And so again, anyone that's on the call that wants to do that, just reach out to your CSM, because we're happy to get that turned on sooner.
Fantastic. I'm glad my advertising is working. Okay, let's move on to step 4. I see the time's moving on. Right, so what we recommend you do, because this is quite a change, and what we've seen of existing customers' behavior is many staff don't actually even realize they have an app installed that they can revisit and find content in. So what we have built here, and I'm just going to open it up, excuse me, is what we call a staff launch notification, and I'll just let that play. What it does really is do exactly what I showed you all earlier, is explain to people where to find that icon, how to pull it down, so that it's accessible, and also so that they can see the badge count increment if they've missed anything there. So we really recommend that. Then, of course, they open it up and they're going to get this wonderful surprise of this great looking feed with all the new content. So I'm going to publish that out to myself so that you can see it in action. It has been set up. Before I do that, let me explain. It's been set up to appear direct on screen in the bottom right corner of the screen, so it's taking place exactly above what we're trying to point out. So let's publish that. And I've got a pretty fast poll time, so I should just get back here and we'll see that come in. Here it comes. So there we go. Explaining how to do this all. So what we'd really like to do is give this animation, this pre-setup alert to you. I'm more than happy to put it in your content managers. In fact, right now I'm going to put a poll on screen. If you wouldn't mind. Putting in your responses there. I see them coming in. Thank you.
We have one more question if you want, real quick, while they're doing that, and that is, so GIFs will be animated in the story feed as well?
Yes. That I should have included that in my demo. So that feed, that customizable feed image, if that's a GIF, then that animation will play within the feed. It's really quite eye-catching if you do that. Okay, I've got a great response, so I'm going to close that down. And that concludes the demo. I'm just checking you can all see my screen again.
Yes.
Good, right. And, oh, that's stuck on my screen. Let's get rid of it. And let's go into our... I think I skipped this part. Did I show this to you, Ellen?
I don't think so.
No, sorry. I'm getting. It is late at night. Please forgive me. So what this is, I promised to show you the mobile version. So this is a video of the exact demonstration I've just given you, but on mobile. Sorry about that. Just go backwards and let's hit play. So opening the app from the home screen, there you see the feed view on mobile looks almost identical to how it looks in the Windows app. Scrolling down, there's the story, and now if you refresh it here, you'll see how that theme has also been applied to mobile. The search feature is also available in mobile, and of course, if you had panic, that would now neatly appear up here, as opposed to previously the panic list was just one of many pieces of content. So huge improvements on our mobile capability. So I'm glad I stumbled back across that. Let's just do a quick recap. I've showed you how to update to the new version, showed you how to theme it by adding your company logo, showed you how to create stories and how to make your feed view look great with those customizable feed images, and I'm offering that launch notification so that you can let your staff know that there's great new things coming. Just on that launch notification, it is themable. So if you asked for it, when we put it in your content manager, it will pick up your organization theme colors. So it won't be blue like mine is. So moving on, getting close to wrap up. Like I said, tomorrow we will share a recording of this webinar, a PDF of this deck, and with that email, we'll send out 3 links to video tutorials. There's a video tutorial for how to update the app, how to do the app theming, as well as a lovely tutorial on how to create stories. If you requested the launch alert, that will be placed in your example content folder, and we will notify you when that's been done. And one last thing from me as the product manager, I wanted to just point out, I know a lot of you are already using this, but we've added this feedback feature, this blue ideas icon. It says, we'd love to hear your ideas. Just a reminder, though, that this isn't product support. If you need technical support or instant help, then you should still please contact our support team as you already do. But if you have an idea, if you have feedback, this is a direct line to the product team. This comes directly to us. And, you know, from this, we create our backlog of ideas, which we then prioritize based on popularity of those. So please, we'd love to hear from you via that. Okay, Ellen, is there anything else before we wrap up?
Just one last one. And what's next on the roadmap for SnapComms?
Goodness me, that would be telling, wouldn't it? Look, we're doing a lot of work around what we call enterprise features. So that is all about single sign-on capability. So that's not really kind of stuff you can see, but it's really important nowadays for security. We also are about to undertake a big project around mobile onboarding or mobile registration. That means getting your employees onto or signed into our app. We very much acknowledge that that is a tricky process at the moment. If you're doing it by single sign-on, it can be a bit easier. So that will be launched before the end of the year, so that it's much easier for your staff to actually sign into this app and enjoy this new rich feed. Beyond that, we are looking at, and I'd love feedback, but we are looking at adding further engagement to the feed. In other words, being able to get a reaction from your staff optionally on certain pieces of content. So being able to like content and for that popularity to be displayed back. So moving very much more into the engagement space there. So I'm not going to give anything else away. There's lots we're working on, and yeah, please use that feedback mechanism if there's something you're particularly after.
So we have two more questions. One says, related, but where is the backlog of ideas, prioritizations submitted by customers or tracked via SnapComms?
We use a tool for that, but we don't make it public. What I think your CSM can show you, if you're keen, is we do what we can share is the stuff that we are working, basically the now, next, later picture, and the stuff in the next and later queue is always fluid. It can change. So we don't have a public view of that. We have an internal tool for mapping that, and like I said, your CSM can share a kind of a sanitized view of the now, next, later.
Okay, and then the next one is, any plans to add app update facility for Mac?
Not as such, but again, put in the request. If we get many customers asking for that, and if technology allows, then there's no reason why not.
And that's all we have for now.
Good.
Unless anyone else wants to send in something.
Oh, well, that's been fun. Linda, before we sign off, anything else from you?
No, nothing else from me at the moment. Thanks everyone for joining us today.
And yeah, Beth and Alicia, I know you're there. Reach out to them directly if you need stories or anything else. And of course, Ellen's also online. Ellen, thank you for your help. You've been great. And I'm going to sign off. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.